Welcome to my magic workshop. My name is Duane Laflin. The subject of this teaching program is the snap silk. What is the snap silk? It's an effect where a magician picks up a silk handkerchief, in this case a white one, gives it a snap. Just like that, he has another handkerchief. Takes this handkerchief, gives it a snap. Yet another handkerchief. This time a yellow one. Another snap. Another handkerchief. Depending, of course, on his choice, he can have many, many handkerchiefs appear. A red handkerchief, just a red handkerchief? No, another snap, and he's got a blue handkerchief. Started with one, now he has all of these. To make it interesting, let's pick up another handkerchief, in this case a neck scarf. He gives it a wave, and just like that, the black neck scarf becomes filled with color. Adds it to the silks that he picked up earlier, they produced from the one in the beginning, and now, of course, he's got a big, beautiful fountain of silks. More and more and more coming out in front of the camera. Started with one white silk handkerchief in his hand. That's the effect the audience sees. And now it's unbelievable how many are here and how many colors appear. He gets down to the very end, reaches up inside, and wow, a great big beautiful silk butterfly, bigger than I am. And that's the effect, snap silk. Now, a very important matter, we've got to take a moment to go to my office to talk about it. So stay where you are, I'll move, you'll see me in a second. I realize this may not be the most interesting portion of this video program, but it's important. I hope you don't skip over it. We need to talk about the matter of crediting. The snap silk effect that I just showed you is not my invention, and in no way am I trying to claim that somehow I did think it up. I did not. It began with Eric Lewis many years ago. I have a book on my shelf. 1943, Harold Rice put out a little book called Capers with Color. And in Capers with Color, he describes Eric Lewis's handling of what was the predecessor of the snap silk. Now, when Eric Lewis did the routine, he called it the diminishing silk. And it began with a 36-inch silk. He would snap it, and a 24-inch silk would appear. He would snap that, there would be an 18-inch silk. He would snap that, there would be a 12-inch silk. He would snap that, there would be a 6-inch silk. And so that was the idea of Eric Lewis as Harold Rice published it. I have been in magic over 30 years. I've been to every major magic convention in the world, most of them many times. I've never seen anybody do the diminishing silks. And my opinion is there was an inherent flaw with Eric Lewis's routine. Now, how dare I say that? The routine was genius. The idea was marvelous. I don't mean to diminish at all what he did, but I'm still saying the routine itself had a flaw, and that is each silk successively was smaller. And finally, by the time you're near the end, the audience knows what's going to happen next. The audience is thinking, well, that last silk is going to be littler yet, and it was. And so he would produce one silk after another. Each one was smaller. He got to the smallest one, it ended. In other words, there was no surprise, no climax, no punch. The trick didn't really finish in the sense of having a big finish. It was just sort of over. And magicians don't want to do that kind of trick. We want a trick that finishes with a wow, with a punch, with something that sort of puts it over the top. So along came Marvin Roy. And Marvin Roy is Mr. Show Business Sensation. That's what Marvin is all about. Marvin saw the potential. So he changed diminishing silk into snap silk. Marvin's idea was, instead of doing it with silks that get progressively smaller, do it with all big silks. Produce one, produce another, produce another. Well, of course, as you produce them, you've got to set one down to snap off the next one. And the ones you set down, you set over a load, and so then you pick them up at the end, and now you've got your punch, your wow at the end, because the individual silks that were produced, all of a sudden out of their midst, well, you saw me produce a silk fountain, Marvin produces a big jeweled crown, and I've also seen him many, many times produce a chandelier out of the center of the silks that were produced by the snapping method. So Marvin's the one who saw the way to turn diminishing silks into something that led to a sensational ending. Marvin Roy is my friend. He's my mentor in magic. I've talked to him many times about snap silk and said, Marvin, you're the one who should be credited with the snap silk effect. And Marvin says, well, I'm not sure I'm the first one who thought of it. He's very humble about it. And I say, Marvin, we know you were, and let me say, in my opinion, Marvin was the first guy to think of snap silks. But still, he treats it as sort of a public domain idea. But in my opinion, and many would agree with me, Marvin Roy is the snap silk man. Eric Lewis started it with his idea of diminishing silk, as was published by Harold Rice, but Marvin Roy turned it into snap silk, all silks of the same size. So we owe them our thanks. They're the ones who should be credited with the effect. Now, one more matter, and then we'll get on to talking about how the trick is done. The question is, my name's Duane Laflin. Duane, well then why are you doing a video teaching how to do it if you did not originate the trick? And there are several reasons. Number one, it really does seem to be a general domain idea. Magicians around the world are using the trick already. There are no proprietary rights to it, so there's no ethical problem with me teaching you how to do it. Magicians just apparently teach each other or have taken Eric Lewis's idea and figured out how to do it with silks the same size. I don't know how they've learned, but they've learned. But anyway, it's a general domain idea. Secondly, I get asked how to do it time and time again. I go to a magic convention, they say, Duane, show me how to do it. I show them how to do it, and then they say, well, I hope I remember. And I just see a need for a simple tool that you can pick up off a dealer table or purchase at your local magic store that shows you how to do it. You can study it until you get it right. But thirdly, I have made an improvement. What you're going to see on this program is different than anyone else has taught. Now, I don't mean I've improved the effect. I hope to live to the day to be able to do snap silks as beautifully as Marvin did it. My effect isn't better, but I've simplified the setup and the preparation, and I've done something that means most people can do the trick the first time right. I've done something that's going to eliminate the snag, the hang-up that many magicians, especially beginning magicians, have. So I am showing you something on this program that's never been shown before. It is my own idea. But in spite of that, credit the trick to Eric Lewis, who gave it birth, to Marvin Roy, who made it the sensational effect that it is today. And now that you know that important information, let's get on with how to do it. The essence of the snap silk is two silks that are tied together. One is rolled up in a way that conceals it in the other. Now, the traditional method for tying them together involves a square knot. I'm going to show you how to do that. We'll bring the camera in close, but after showing you how to do it, I'm going to show you my improvement, so this isn't necessary to know. But a square knot means you start to tie a knot, so like that. You've got the under-over setup that begins a knot, and then you take the one and go over the other and through, so you're in sort of a square situation. I'll turn it and hope the camera can pick it up for you, but see how that configuration is with the silk? That's why it's called a square knot. The yellow end goes back with the yellow, the blue goes back that way. Now, to upset a square knot, what you do is take the same end of the silk, and this way I'll take both yellow. Let's see, I'll turn it this way so you can see better. And if I pull hard, what happens is now the blue has changed its shape, so it slides back and forth on the yellow. Many magic books will show you how to do this. It's an old idea. Well, traditionally, when you set up the snap silks, you tie that square knot. Then when you want to pull the silks apart, you just pull and one comes out of the other. That's the traditional setup for the snap silk. Once you learn how to do that, you can do it again and again beautifully. But I have seen many who, when they are learning, you couldn't remember exactly how to tie a square knot, either didn't get it right, or somehow, some way, they got the knots, I don't know what the problem is, maybe just offset or something, but what would happen is when they go to pull them apart, they catch like this and they can't get the silks to come off. They're going tug, 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 and they can't get them to release. Believe me, it's a common problem. Try it, you'll probably have the problem when you're learning. Well, I want to simplify that and get around even needing to tie the knots. So here's what I did. I got some Velcro dots. You can get them at Walmart, your local department store, whatever, and I'll show you them in just a moment. And I experimented with them until I figured out how to make them the right size for an almost instant setup. I mean, watch this. Instead of tying the knot, got to get the right corner of the silk. Instead of tying the knot, here we go. I just go like that, and they're ready. Time to pull them apart. They come right apart. No snag, no hang up. Every time it works the way it's supposed to. Very simple, but as I say, there's profundity in simplicity. It's a profound improvement over the setup. But here's what you need to know. Velcro dots come in little strips like this. And if you use a full dot, it's too much. It sticks too hard. When you pull the silks apart, there's a big snap, and it just isn't cool. So what you do is you take your scissors, you cut the dot in half like that. And you're only going to use half of the Velcro dot. And that half gives you just the right amount. It'll hold it together, it'll handle the load, and yet it'll pop apart easily. If you start going to 36-inch silks, and a lot of them, maybe you'll need a few bigger dots, but I think for almost everybody, just cutting the dots in half will do it. And it's interesting too, these are self-stick dots. You do not have to sew them to the silk. Now I don't want to stick it on because I can't get it off, but believe me, take one of those and stick it on, it's going to stay. So you stick it in place and you're done. But another thing you want to do is disguise the dot. So I don't know if the camera even can pick this up. With modern video technology, it probably will, but whether you can or can't see it, trust me, the Velcro dot is there, but I wanted to disguise it. I didn't want these white dots showing on my silks. And so what I did is found magic markers that were the right color, and I take a magic dart marker over the dot, so a blue marker over the dot, so now it's a blue dot on the silk, and that way it's not going to show up. It's not going to be real obvious when the silks are produced. So that is the new idea. Get yourself some Velcro dots, cut them in half, take yourself a magic marker or a fabric marker to make them match the color of the silk, and you're ready to go. Now I'm going to set this out of the way. Hang on, I'll be right back. And I'm going to show you now how to do the fold. So you have your silk handkerchiefs, and you take your Velcro dots and you stick them together like that. Ta-da! It's ready to go. This first silk, it's not too crucial how you fold it, the blue one, because it is the final one that will be produced, and it's just going to flash out no matter what you do. So you can be a little bit relaxed about the first silk and how it gets folded. But now, from here on, there's something that's very, very important. And that is, what's going to happen is it's going to get rolled up into the next silk, and you must roll it tightly. I promise you, if you don't roll it tightly like this, when you start the routine and you snap to produce one silk, you're going to discover actually 3 or 4 have all fallen out, stuck to the others. So you roll it up. Now this one has the Velcro dot on the corner. I'll try to slow down to make sure you understand the angles in all of this. Roll it up, and you take your next handkerchief, in this case the black one, and the half dot is there, the half dot is here. But now watch this. So this is going to lay down in a diamond pattern. Black on black's hard to see. You'll see it better next time around. The reason I use a black silk is my load was covered with black, so I wanted one black silk to match the load. But now this one would start getting rolled in. Normally you'd have a bigger table, but for camera's sake we're trying to do this so you can see well. But see now, so I'm coming in what you might call the side of the silk. The next Velcro dot is over here. It's not here, it's over here. So I roll in this way, roll in tight, and this is important. You don't want to compromise it or they'll pop out earlier than they're supposed to. So I've rolled across from here to here, but the next silk that goes on is going to go on here. So there's the Velcro dot. This one gets tucked on this way. And make sure it's soft to hard dot to get them to stick properly, of course, like that, okay? Maybe I'll show it from this angle. I'll come around so you can see what I mean. So I'm going to roll into here, go that way, but the next Velcro dot is over there. So now it looks like this. And if you had this on a table, you could roll this one a little more neatly. And here's another important thing. Notice how this roll is small. When I was experimenting with this, I thought, well, it wouldn't make such a big bundle here if I kind of spread it out and made this roll a little bit longer. But if you do that, it won't stay in place. So each time you roll the silk, it's almost like you've got a snake here that swallowed a big rabbit, and you've got a little lump here where the rabbit is. See what I mean? But you want it that shape. Now here we are. There's my Velcro dot again. I knocked the handkerchief off the table. It quickly reappears. And so we stick there to there. And once again, and this time the color should show up better, so I'll lay it out again. So see how I'm going in? The next Velcro is up here. It's on this corner. So this one gets rolled in nice and tight. And see, it's a ball like this. It's not like a long cylinder, it's like a ball. It gets rolled into the center. There we go. And now here's my next Velcro dot, and time for the last silk. And I thought it'd be interesting to use white on this just to show you that with the proper setup, the color of the last silk doesn't matter because of this thing is folded in such a way that's very well hidden. So, I mean, obviously you could pick up a black silk, a blue silk, and you may prefer that, but I just wanted you to see with the white silk that the setup still really conceals things wonderfully. So here we are. We're all rolled up. The bundle's in the center like that. See how that is? So when I pick it up, my hand goes around that, which means the part of the silk that doesn't conceal anything is out. I mean, the light can show through it no problem because the whole bundle is in my hand. Now, we want to do a steal. I had this little bucket thing here, if you remember, and I just had the silk fountain sitting in the back. You could produce a dove, whatever you want. I mean, you know, the sky's the limit in a sense, whatever the silks can cover. And as you produce the silks, you set them down over your load, you pick up the load. Even though it has nothing to do with snap silk, I just wanted to comment, I believe in separating the reveal from the steal. And the reason I added this was nothing more than to create a little time between the pickup. When I picked up all the fountain silks from there, I didn't want to immediately show you the fountain. I picked them up, sort of set them aside in my hand. They were over in this hand, so the misdirection of time is involved. I pick this up, I give it a shake. So it's sort of another trick happens before I reveal the fountain. Then I go back, pop open the fountain, and voila, you've got the big ending. So enough said on that. I'll just use this as my steal. It's here, let's put it out in the open so you see what happens. So this is whatever you're going to pick up. Your dove, your rabbit, your silk fountain, your flowers, or whatever. Here is your snap silk. When you pick it up, and we'll bring the camera in, on top of the bundle is the first corner. It's right there. So when you pick it up, thumb and forefinger has that corner. See it? So all you have to do, and I'm going to do it slow motion, I'll let it fall, but all you have to do is you let this fall open, and the next one pops open just like that. You reach down and grab it. I always grab around the bundle to hold things in place. Since it's Velcro, just snap them apart like that. Set this one aside over your load. Now notice this corner. So remember how we rolled them. There's the long ends, but this corner is right there to grab again. So now I come over, grab this corner, take it back in this hand, and I'm in position to once again do the production. And every time, because when I pull them off, let's see, the Velcro was at the top, but when I pull it off, my hand catches the bundle, so I always have the corner in place again. I'll try to explain it more slowly. So I pop it open, hand catches the bundle. See, this hand's got the bundle. Take it off. Well, since the hand has got the bundle, I know the corner is right here again. So I come over, I've got the corner again. Give it a snap, and there we go. Grabbing this one in the middle, and again, I've got the corner. So every time I've got the right corner. Last time, get a little snap. There's your last big silk. They pop apart like this. You reach over, pick up that load. Remember that little bundle I had underneath? Put it back in this hand. Do something to create a little bit of misdirection. Come back over and reveal the big load. And that's really all there is to it. I mean, the effect is ever so simple. One more time, I'm going to show you the setup as far as how the silks are connected to one another. Let's do it with blue and red, and then we'll be done. I think just by reviewing this program, you can understand the rest of it. So bear with me. I'll set this aside for a moment. So you have this one laid out on the diagonal. You have this one that's going to roll into it. These are some old silks that have been used many times. I maybe should, for the program, should have got some new ones for you, but that's okay. And nothing else, the fact they've been used helps you understand this is a useful trick that you will put to work a lot. So anyway, Velcro dots, been colored so they don't show. One sticks on the other, ta-da. Don't even have to worry about tying that square knot. This silk is folded into sort of a tube shape. So like this, like this, like this, like this. So you're going to make it long and narrow. You're going to take one end and roll it up. Now, on this first one, I roll it lightly, but later on, I, of course, roll them a little more carefully. So it's rolled up. Now it comes into the other silk on the diagonal, so it's going to roll across that way. In this part, you roll in tightly. And then, of course, the next silk, if you were going to set it up, would be attached up there, and so on with the effect. And for the production, you grab the corner, pop it open like that, and one silk leads into the next. That's it, snap silks. Thank you, Eric Lewis. Thank you, Marvin Roy. And I hope my little addition about the setup is helpful to many. Learn how to do the trick right, use it to create some sensational magic. That's it. My name's Duane Laflin. I really appreciate the fact that you watched this program.